Hello, lovely viewers. Welcome once again to your favorite cooking channel, Cooking with Abba. Today, I'm sharing some ginger juice, drink, tea, ale recipes to try at home. It's everything ginger. And this is a beautiful, beautiful blend of ginger product to be doing at home. I totally loved it. So the main ingredient here is ginger. The main ingredient here is ginger. I'm going to do that with some lemon. I have some Prekese or Aridan, Titapura, Titapetra. And of course, I'm going to add in some cloves as well. I'm going to clean my root vegetables in there. Yes, this is the ginger. And I'm going to wash the Aridan and then the lemons as well before I use it. So just make sure you wash everything properly before you go onto it. Now, I diced some of the lemon because I was going to use it for the flavoring, and I broke my Prekese up a bit. So what you want to do is to clean, then you chop it up before you blend. Yes, you clean, chop, and you blend. For me, I like to keep the skin on because the skin also has its own health benefits. And I add in my lemon juice as well. Then a bit of water, like a lot of water, because there's a lot of fiber and root. If you don't add enough water when you're blending, you won't get much out of it. And the beautiful thing about this is when you're done, there is no waste because when you're done, the chaff of the ginger you can still reuse. I'm going to show you how to go about it. So I'm just going to take out as much juice out of it as possible. And this is my first product from the blend, which is your ginger juice. So you can serve this and then enjoy your fresh ginger juice with or without sugar, honey, or any sweetener. And this is healthy. Some days when you have a cough or your throat is inflamed, you can always go with this flu. And for the ginger ale, I add in some honey, I add my cloves, I add in my Prekese, and what I did was to blend it up. So one thing, and when I was done, the chaff, I added in more water, and then I went on to stir the ginger ale recipe and the chaff one. I'm just cooking it to just get some finer ginger tea. I added just a bit of Prekese in there as well to also help with the flavoring. So one thing I would want you to note about ginger is that ginger naturally is great for a lot of treatments when it comes to oral bacteria. So in your mouth, ginger does a lot of wonders in there. And it's also believed that it also helps with RSV virus. Yes, it's also believed to check it, and it reduces your blood cholesterol level and it's good for your blood sugar. When it comes to its anti-inflammatory benefit. So when it comes to ginger, there's quite a lot of stuff that it does for your body, and sometimes you can add some synergy in there to get more out of it, like adding in some turmeric, fresh turmeric, because when you add that to it, it gives you a whole different twist of benefit in there. So ginger naturally is good for it's great with its anti-inflammatory properties. That's how come sometimes when you've got sore muscles or arthritis, ginger is the best way to go, and it suits to your sore throat and your congestive coughs. So when you're coughing a lot, ginger always goes in there, and it's good for tummy upset and your nauseas and infections. And it's believed when it comes to menstrual cramps, yes, when you take some ginger, it also helps you a lot. So, to my ginger ale recipe, I'm just going to do the ginger syrup. That is my next product, and the one I'm brewing alongside is going to give me the cooked ginger tea. So, I'm doing two ginger tea recipes over here. Just watch as we go and learn as much as you can learn. So, the syrup, if you leave it by itself, is going to foam and go into your fire. So, once it starts boiling over, I just reduce it and I put it off for it to cool down. The tea type, see, I split juice into three. So there was one I used for the ginger ale, which was most part of it. There was a part I placed down, the fresh juice, and there was a part I used, the raw fridges. So the fresh juice, when it sits for a while, the ginger, so I say starch or the carbo in is going to settle at the base and the water will be retained at the top. So usually I just take off the water and then the base part, if you dry and you use it for your candy, it works better. But then I didn't properly dry and then I used it for the candy. It kind of worked, but then it was a bit like tapioca kind of feeling. When it comes to the syrup, which is the second product we've gotten here, we've already gotten our ginger juice. We're working on the syrup and the ginger tea. So this is the syrup in here I'm going to use for the ginger ale, and I'm going to store the rest in my glass jars and in my bottle. And for the ginger tea, once it's also brewed and is hot, I can just split it up and I can serve it. So unlike the fresh juice, which will settle more, the ginger tea is takes a bit of while before it can even settle, and it's good when it's hot. It clears your nasal stuff. So when you got colds and those ones, and you can also serve it chilled to enjoy. I told you nothing here goes waste. So when you're done, the chaff or the fiber, you can just dry it in the sun and you can mill it and use it for your seasoning or your spicing mixes, and it works perfectly. So when your ginger sits for a while, you realize that for the juice, it separates into layers. So you have that purple kind of water up, and you're going to have the base, which is going to be a bit of like the ginger starch and things at the very bottom. But the tea formula doesn't really separate that heavily like the fresh ginger juice. So that's one thing to note. And the fresh ginger juice has the shortest lifespan, followed by the ginger tea before you come to the ginger syrup. So the ginger syrup, you can even preserve it for longer in your fridge for like 3 weeks, 1 month, sometimes 2 months, depending on how cold or well refrigerated your fridge is. And you can do like 6 months over here in the deep freezer. And for my ginger tea, my second option is just to cut the ginger, put in my cloves and pour some hot water and let it sit and like go with the flow. For my ginger ale, I'm just going to add some ice cubes to the ginger syrup, and then I add the club soda and I mix, and it's ready to be enjoyed. So the club soda gives it that carbonated feel. So it gives it that shh and that light feel when you're drinking it. And of course, this is something you can do with your ginger. You can do your toffee as well for your coughing. You can drink your fresh ginger tea in the morning. You can do it whether you want it all clean and smooth, or whether you want the ginger to take your time to dissolve it water. You can do it like that. You can have your fresh ginger juice. You can have your ginger ale. You can also have your ginger syrup. And one thing I realized is when you do your sobolo with the ginger syrup, it tastes so different and so nicer. And you can feel the ginger in like steady. It's not too wild and hot, but then when you're drinking you're done, you feel that I'm drinking ginger. Like that's a feeling. And I used honey in here for my ginger syrup. You can use sugar, you can use stevia, you can use any sweetener of your choice. It's going to work perfectly. So do give this ginger stuff a try, not only when you're sick, but boost your immunity with these ginger options. Until I see you in the next food video, do live life to the fullest. Be joyous, be merry. Lots of love from my team and I. Mwah.